All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion. It's been a nice little 2-week hiatus. This is episode 111. I got the Wanderer with me, and the Big Earn is not really here yet, so we're going to give it a go without him for right now. Wanderer, say hello.
Hope everyone is enjoying their current conscious container experience.
So, we got a lot to talk about over the last couple weeks. We could start off with some football news. There's an all-star game tonight and the home run derby yesterday, but we'll get all into that. Let's just backtrack a little bit, I guess, to 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Our last episode, the Yankees were just about to play Toronto, which was going to be a big 4-game series up in Toronto.
Right.
And they failed miserably.
Yeah, it didn't go too well.
No. They lost all 4 games. I mean, they showed a little bit of fight, especially that one game. I think it was game 3 where they were down 8-0 and came all the way back to tie the game up at 9-9. But other than that, like, the pitching was atrocious all 4 of those games. I think up until those 4 games, they were scoring 5 or more runs a game in that series, and they lost every single one of them. So to me, that was a huge problem. It was one of those rare times where all the starters and pretty much the entire bullpen was terrible, and they really couldn't do anything about it. The bats were alive. Like, you shouldn't lose 4 games if you're scoring 5+ more runs a game in that series.
Right.
But that's just kind of the way it worked out. And unfortunately for them, they pretty much got bumped out of first place after that series. I want to say, do you remember who the Mets were playing during that time frame?
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
Was it the Pirates?
Because they didn't have a good stretch either. It was the Brewers.
Oh, the Brewers.
So
Yeah, they lost 2 out of 3.
yeah, well, actually, they won 2 out of 3 because they had that rain out. So we're going to go back and forth between the Yankees and Mets for these 2 weeks because it's just too much to just talk about one team right now because I'm going to get absolutely upset. Right. So they had the game on the 1st,
Right.
but it was postponed. So they had a doubleheader, which they split.
Oh, they split the doubleheader and then they won the next game.
Correct. They won 3-2. So for me, as far as the Mets go, so far in July, so far so good. You win 2 out of 3 against the Brewers. No big deal, right? Then I watched some of the doubleheader, but I can't really tell you. I know they lost the game 7-2, and then they won the game 7-3. That much I know. But it seems like they were starting to right the ship after coming out of June terrible,
Right.
just like the Yankees. The Yankees did not right the ship; they just kept losing. So then here we are, 4th of July weekend. Big series against the New York Yankees. So that's why I want to go back and forth because they're playing each other at this point.
Yeah.
So it's nice and easy. Nothing crazy to really talk about besides the fact that the Yankees still suck. The first game, the Yankees had a nice little lead. They were winning, I think it was 5-1, and the Mets just came back on them. The bullpen couldn't hold it. And to be fair, the Yankees should have won that first game. The bullpen let them down, gave up, I think it was a home run to, I can't remember who it was at this point now, but I know it was something happened there. Oh, it was Jeff McNeil.
Right.
That's who it was. I knew it once it was gone. He blasted it to right field, home run, gone.
Yeah, he's had some big hits this year.
And that game was weird too because,
Especially late in the games.
yes. That game was actually weird too because in the first inning, the Yankees jumped right on the Mets, back-to-back home runs. Now I'm starting to get the memory back. Back-to-back home runs. I forget who was in front of Judge that day because they always change the leadoff spot. But it was somebody and Judge hit back-to-back home runs. Then Juan Soto in the bottom of the first comes right back and hits a 2-run home run.
Right.
And then the Yankees pull ahead 5-2. And they go from there. And then that's when the comeback starts for the Mets.
Oh, right. That was the game that was back and forth with the home runs.
Yes, because matter of fact, the Mets took the lead 3-2, but but then the Yankees in the top half of the next inning tied, and then the very next inning get another 2 runs to make it, I think it was 5-3.
Right.
And then
we weren't expecting a lot of scoring going into that with the way the teams have been playing.
Correct. And then, basically Weaver gives up the home run to McNeil, game over. Not great. So I knew once they lost that game that they should have won and shouldn't have lost. It was going to be a rough weekend for them. So then you got Saturday's game where Rodon was pitching. Like, okay, you're feeling good. And the thing about this series is the Mets go into this series with a starting rotation problem. They were pitching a bunch of, like, I don't want to call them bums, but they weren't pitching their best guys.
For sure.
Right. And they should have won game 1, the Yankees. Game 2 was Montas versus Rodon. And, of course, an ex-Yankee who was a bum for us pitches really well for the Mets. And Rodon, who's been pretty much awesome all year, gives up, I think it was like 7 or 8 runs in that game. I mean, I think he gave up a grand slam in the first inning. Yeah, he gave up a grand slam, I think, to Nimmo in the first inning, and then a couple home runs to Pete Alonso. I don't think he was both to him. I'm not 100% sure on that. But the Mets wind up beating the balls off the Yankees 12-6, and once again, the Yankees score 6 runs and lose a game. Terrible pitching. I don't know what to say about it. They weren't looking good. So now, basically, the game's on the line for the Yankees on Sunday. And it's funny, I get a text from a friend of mine, and he's like, I got 3 tickets to the Yankee game. Do you want them? Well, I guess we're the Mets game. But I'm like, I don't know. So I talked to a few people. I asked Ernie to come. He says yes. So we wind up going to the Yankee game. Now, I hate taking public transportation.
Right.
I'm pretty sure that anyone that actually watches these videos knows I hate traffic and all this other stuff, and the buses and trains. Yes, very well documented. But it took me an hour to get to a parking spot at Citi Field from here.
Wow.
And it wasn't even so much here. I got all the way there in around 18 minutes, and the line to go down to the marina area off Northern Boulevard, I was on that line for 40 minutes.
Damn.
Yes, so much so where I just was like, the first lot I'm just parking because we were going to be late to the game. And in fact, we were late to the game. We got there right as the top of the first was ending. But we sat there, great seats, a little bit behind home plate, but a little bit up the first baseline. On the third deck, we were under the shade because there was a hot one.
Yeah.
Very hot.
Yeah,
It was like 80-something degrees, hot. And, just had a bunch of drinks and some food. Enjoyed the great game.
Yankees pulled it out for you.
Yeah, thankfully the Yankees pulled it out. We didn't have to worry about much. Fried pitched that game.
The Judge had a home run, right?
Yes, Judge did have a home run, and I think a sacrifice fly too. And the play of the game probably came from Cody Bellinger, which is what they were talking about all last week after that game. And they thought it would maybe right the ship for the Yankees, which I guess it sort of did, and we'll talk about that when we get back into the week after the Subway Series. But he makes this shoestring catch in left field off of Juan Soto's bat, and then has, I guess, the baseball IQ to see that Lindor was way off of first, and he throws a dart to Goldschmidt. And I don't know if you saw the play. I watched it a few times. I don't know what you think about it. I'm going to get your opinion in a second. But it almost looked like as Lindor's coming back, the ball is literally just coming in on this angle. And if it wasn't that perfect of a throw, it probably would have hit Lindor right in the back. But it didn't. Goldschmidt had, I guess, enough mind to just reach out for it and make the double play out. And they wanted to review it, this, that, and the other. And obviously, you have no choice there. It's one of those things where I think they were Yeah, they were up 6-4 at that point. So it's a 2-run game. So like if that ball winds up not being a catch, it's first and second and no outs. So they had to challenge it, but the ball barely just got into that glove and never touched the grass, thankfully, and they didn't overturn it. But what did you think of that play?
Yeah, it's a hell of a play, especially the catch, and then just to have the IQ to get Lindor at second. It was very impressive.
I think it was a fantastic play. And then I will be ashamed to admit this, we started to make our descent after the top half of the 8th inning because we wanted to beat the traffic out of the stadium.
Right.
So as we're walking down and around, because we were parked on the by the marina, which is like on the outfield side of the stadium, the left field. So we're walking around, and I hope you saw it. I saw the replay, but I don't really remember it as well. But apparently Goldschmidt in the very next inning made another double play that was fantastic to get out of an inning, which pretty much saved our ass, and we wound up winning that game. But yeah, I wish I would have been able to.
Yeah, it got a little interesting at the end.
Yeah, and like not for nothing, in this game the Yankees were up 5-0 in the 5th, and the Mets slowly and surely crawled back. Like in the 5th, the Mets got 2, and then right again in the 6th they got 2. They could have had some in the 7th if it wasn't for Cody's double play, and then the 8th Paul Goldschmidt got the other double play. But without those double plays, like you said, it was already pretty hairy. It could have gotten a lot worse. But they walk out of there with a win. Great. Let's move it along. And then we go on to the next week. So now you got the Mets winning 2 out of 3. The Yankees won a game. So the Yankees and Mets split the Subway Series 3-3, which is what they usually do most times, except for, a few years where, like the Mets last year, they won all 4. And, we could go all the way back to the early 2000s or whatever. I'm not even going to bother with it. But so then the Mets go on the road. The Yankees come home. The Mets wind up playing Baltimore, and they win the first game. And then they get rained out on Wednesday, the 9th. And they play a doubleheader the next day against Baltimore and lose both games to Baltimore.
Right, okay, that's what I was thinking of.
They lost 3-1 and 7-3. And I remember some of those highlights. The Mets did not look good in those games. Since it's been like a little bit over a week that we haven't been watching these things, and a lot's happened since then, I don't really have much to say on that series besides that the Mets cannot lose 2 out of 3 to Baltimore.
Right.
You're pretty much basically trying to win 2 out of 3, if not sweep, but you just can't do it. Any thoughts on that series? Or were you watching any of those games?
Not really. I don't think I watched a lot of those games. No.
Now, a lot of the Mets' problems are the same things as the Yankees. It's their bullpen and their starting pitching right now. And we'll talk a little bit of trades, right after we get through this last week of the baseball season for the first half. But then they go on the road to Kansas City. They play 2 out of 3, and they actually win 2 out of 3. So after all said and done, over the week, they went 3-3 on the road, which not terrible. That's pretty much something that you might want to be 4-2, but you weren't. But the Royals are, I'd like to think, a pretty good team, even though they're just I think they're 2 games under 500. But, and I'm pretty sure the Mets were winning that last game on Sunday too, because the Royals won not in the bottom of the 9th. So at some point I want to say they were winning.
The Mets tied it up in the 9th.
Oh, in the 9th? Okay. So that the Mets were actually losing all game, tied it up in the 9th. Okay, so good comeback,
Yeah.
But then they fell short in the bottom of the 9th and they wound up losing.
And Mania was, looked pretty good in his first.
Yeah, talk about that. I think he struck out a bunch of dudes, right?
Yeah, he looked pretty good. Yeah, I think he came in the 6th. yeah, he was. I think, I forget how many strikeouts he had, but he definitely fanned a few. He looked good. He looked good in his first season debut.
Yeah, like someone else started first, and then he came in the back end of the game. Correct?
Yeah.
I think they said he struck out like 5 or 6 in a row.
Yeah.
And then wound up giving up the
Yes,
run to win the game.
That's true.
Okay. Yeah, but overall, great pitching performance from him.
Right.
You like to see him have a bunch of strikeouts in only a couple innings, which is good. That means his stuff is there, it's live.
Right.
So that's encouraging. Now, has Senga come back yet?
I think. Yeah, did he start one of those games?
I'm not sure.
I think he might have.
Let's see. One of the Royals games?
Yeah.
Not that one. Let's see. No, Montas. I don't know. Maybe he came in at the tail end of a game? Is that possible?
No, I thought he started one, but maybe I'm mistaken.
Well, I'll let you know right now. I'm trying to figure this out on Friday. Let's see if he's in the box score. Oh, yeah, he pitched 4 innings. It was the Friday game. He started. 4 innings, 4 hits. Okay, no runs, 2 walks, 4 Ks. Okay, so overall, I guess after those pitching performances, you'd say the Mets had a good week.
Definitely.
You know, you get your 2 starters back. That's what you kind of need.
Yeah.
You finished, after going 1-2 against the Orioles, you come right back and go 2-1 against the Royals, which is a harder team.
Right.
And
another, late comeback, although they fell short. It's always good that they seem to find a way to,
fight back.
be in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you gotta love that for your team.
Resiliency.
Yeah, because you're not gonna always win those games.
Right.
But more often than not, if you come back, at least you have a really good chance of winning the game, which is what you want. You don't want to just
want to give yourself a chance.
Yeah, you don't want to lie down. You know what I mean? Which is never anything good. So, getting back now to the Yankees, after they lose a bunch of games the week before, they start out at home against Seattle, and then they're going to wind up playing the Cubs. Now, it's funny how they just did it a little earlier than the Mets did. So they play Seattle, who's coming off of playing the Pirates. And I think they threw something like 29 scoreless innings. So they basically shut out the Pirates for 3 straight games. So now with the Yankees scoring runs but not winning games, how are they going to match up against the Mariners starting staff? And everyone was worried. But all of a sudden, I guess after that Mets game, the Yankees all of a sudden go out and, beat up on, I think it was Gilbert on Tuesday. And they wind up winning the game 10-3. And it was all kinds of runs being scored. I think it was a bunch of home runs in that game too.
Was that the Bellinger game, or was that a different game?
No, that was a different game.
Okay.
I don't know when was that game. That might have been against the Cubbies. I think that was the Cubbies. Yeah.
Right, makes sense too.
Yep.
Form the team.
So let's see how they did it over here. So for the Yankees, yeah. So you had Stanton, Wells, and Judge all hit home runs in this game. A bunch of RBIs from Chisholm, Goldschmidt, Judge, Stanton, and Wells. So that pretty much makes up of most of the runs scored for the Yankees on that game. Gilbert didn't look like he had it, but at the same time, it looks like the Yankees were, not in the best of moods and took it out on this poor guy against Seattle, which, I enjoyed. I watched most of that game, and I was happy that they won that game. And then the next day, I think they wind up playing, they faced Evans, and same thing, kind of same result. They beat the Mariners 9-6, which, they scored a few runs early in the first inning. They went up 3-0, looking good. The big story about this game was they had a rookie pitcher come up. I'm gonna butcher his name, so you can help me out if you can. But his name is Cam Schlittler, and he was in AA, but then went to AAA, and they brought him up. He had like a 2.82 ERA in AAA. He was looking good, and what I was most impressed about all this, I don't want to really focus too much on the offensive side of things, but he wound up pitching, I think it was 5 1/3, so he got them into the 6th inning. He did give up 3 runs, but really one was on Loizaga, because he came in and wound up giving up, I think it was a 2-run homer, and one of the guys on base was charged to Cam. But the most impressive thing about this kid, and I like to see this in young pitchers, is early in the game, he's up 3-0. In the 3rd inning and in the 4th inning, he gives up solo home runs to, I think one was Crawford and one was somebody else. But I'll check right now, actually. Yeah, Crawford and Polanco off Cam. And what was most impressive is after he gave up the home runs, he locks right back in and goes right after the next batter. And by not even, toying around with him, strike 1, strike 2, whatever, a foul or a ball, strike 3, you're out. He struck out the next batter both times when he gave up the home run. And to me, that's great, because a lot of times you see like these rookies come up, they give up the first home run, then they're like nervous to come in on guys or be too, in the middle of the plate.
Right.
And you didn't see that from him.
No hesitation.
None at all. And he was like, his big issue in the minors is like a lot of other youngsters, command and control of the strike zone. And after giving up those home runs, he just dialed it up. He was throwing 100 miles an hour at certain times in this game. So for me, that was very positive, and I really enjoyed watching this kid play. And I was happy for him, because you don't really see that too often. Some guy just get a spot start, and there's I think he's like 24-year-old rookie or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's going up against Seattle, who hits home runs. They could score runs. They don't always do it all the time, because I know they have that up and down swing like most Major League Ball clubs do, but he was great. Then you go to the last game. The last game, I think it was Wu was pitching, and the Yankees couldn't touch him, and they didn't touch him. 7 no-hit frames for him, and then he winds up getting into a little bit of trouble, and this was a great one, probably the best game of the year. The Yankees come back, and
Was that the one where they were down 8-0?
no, they were down 5-0
Oh, 5-0.
in the 7th, and then in the 8th they start their comeback. So in the 8th, you get a home run off Stanton. I think Wells wound up starting it with a sacrifice fly, got them on the board, and then Stanton comes in as a pinch hitter and hits a 2-run home run. And sort of changes the game. For one thing, he's never come off the bench and hit a pinch hit home run. So that was his first pinch hit home run ever. And you could just see, like, they started to crawl back. They got 3 in the 8th. They shut down the Mariners in the 9th. And then, miraculously, Wells comes up with the bases loaded with 2 outs, and I think 2 strikes, and gets a base hit off their closer. To be fair, I think the closer's name was Munoz. He was wild as hell. So he walked a few guys. He got himself into some trouble. And then Wells takes somewhat of a high fastball, puts it in between first and second base, and the Yankees wind up scoring 2 runs and tying the game. Then they wind up going into extra innings, and on the rare occasion, they wind up winning in extra innings. They actually wind up getting in a run from third base with less than 2 outs on a great slide by none other than Anthony Volpe. I don't know if you saw that slide.
No.
It was amazing. Judge hits a mediocre fly ball to center field. Julio Rodriguez makes a great throw to home plate. The ball beats Volpe to home. But I guess the home run leader, Cal Riley, was a little off the plate, like off to the right, like not right on top of the plate. And obviously we know you can't block the plate.
Right.
But he goes for the swipe, and Volpe slides in with his right hand, tags the base, and as he's trying to tag this other hand, he's pulling it back. So by the time he tags his hand, he's already in. So the Yankees wind up winning that game. Great, right? Awesome. So that ends that. As of right now, that stands for the best game of the season for the Yankees, at least comeback-wise.
Right.
That could have happened in Toronto, but they fell short, just like kind of like when we were talking earlier about the Mets. Like, you come all the way back. You like to see them finish it, but you understand sometimes you can't always have your way, right?
Right.
Then we go to the Cubs. They start off great against the Cubs again. 11-0 in Friday's game. That was what you were alluding to earlier, the Cody Bellinger three home run games.
Was it 3 or 4?
It was 3, but I'm glad you said that. It should have been 4. He was robbed of a home run earlier in the game, but he still wound up having 3 home runs. Crazy game. I'm pretty sure that was that was the same game that Aaron Judge didn't do much offensively, but he had 3 stellar catches. He stole a home run off Peter Crow Armstrong, PCA, and then he made 2 other diamond catches, one going down the line away from him and one coming, straight in front of him. Great defensive plays by him all day out there. So great. Good complete win. No big deal. Let's move along. Now all of a sudden the Yankees are riding a 5-game win streak. Now this is like their little bugaboo now. They haven't had more than a 5-game win streak all year. I think they've had 2 5-game win streaks. Then they lose Saturday to the Cubs. Unfortunately, Max Fried was on the mound.
He blister thing, huh?
Exactly. He went developing a blister on his left hand, his pitching hand. He didn't even make it out of he only went 3 innings. Plus he already had given up 4 runs, but you could see he was struggling. Like, I can't even blame the guy, because there were times they showed him and he was pointing to his fingers. I think the only thing that they could have done to prevent that is if before that inning, get him out of there, right, just to save the finger if you could. Like, I don't know if it popped or whatever. They didn't. He wound up giving up a total of 4 runs in those 3 innings, and then the Yankees got shut down by Boyd. They couldn't hit him. I think they only had really, I think it was like 2 or 3 hits against him. 3 hits against him. 2 from Aaron Judge, which were 2 doubles, and I think 1 was from a weak ground ball by Jazz, and that was pretty much it. And Aaron Judge winds up hitting a bottom of the 9th 2-run homer in that game, but it was wasted because no one else could get on, and they lose 5-2. And then Sunday they lose again, 4-1. Same kind of thing. Warren pitched pretty good. He only gave up 1 run through 5 innings. They took him out in the 6th. He had some guys on base. The bullpen kind of gave up a couple runs there, and you lose 4-1 because you're not hitting again. So you lose the last game right before the All-Star break. The only good thing is they didn't lose much in the standings because the Blue Jays lost 2 out of 3 to the Athletics. So as of right now, the standings pretty much stayed the same throughout the weekend. The Yankees right now are 2 games back, well in striking distance to catch the Blue Jays. If they could have just beat the Cubs one of those 2 games, we'd be looking at a 1-game difference. Just some notes on the league. The Red Sox came out of the first half scorching hot. They won 10 games in a row.
Yeah, I saw that.
Crazy. So they're right behind the Yankees right now. They're only a game back from the Yankees and only 3 games back from the Blue Jays. So it's going to be interesting. I don't know where you go from here. It's funny, as we moved into the All-Star break, they had the Home Run Derby yesterday, as you know.
Right.
I'll be honest with you, I didn't watch it. I just watched the highlights. Mm-hmm. But a lot of controversy kind of in this Home Run Derby. So you have the 8 contestants. Now, the overall winner was Cal Riley. He's the home run champ for the home run derby. He just squeaked out Junior Caminero on that. But to get there, he was facing, I think his name is Brett Rooker of the A's.
Okay.
And apparently StatCast, you know how they project your home run distance?
Mm-hmm.
He beat him by like an inch to move on to the finals.
Oh, wow.
So
That close.
that was really crazy. Jazz didn't have the best showing. I'm glad he had fun with it. He said he didn't ruin his swing, so he's ready for the second half. I hope he's right, because we're going to need him to be big in the second half. You know, over the years, maybe it's my age, I don't know, I kind of stopped watching the home run derby because you're not really getting all the home run hitters in there, right? So it kind of stinks. And I get it. I don't fault them, especially guys that win it and they're like, one and done, I'm done. And not like Pete Alonso, like he does it every year, which I was shocked he didn't do it this year.
Right.
But happy for him that he decided to just, you know, let some new guys do it. He won it a few times, lost it I think once. But, you know, I don't blame a guy if he's like, I won it this year, I have the trophy, you know, that after that year, it didn't really work out for me the second half. I don't want to chance it, because ultimately your ultimate goal is to be good in the season and get playoffs in a World Series.
Right.
But it's just, I'm not really watching the home run derby. So,
Yeah.
you know, that's all I'll say about that. Then we had the All-Star game yesterday. I didn't really watch a lot of that. I watched the first inning. Paul Skeens was lights out, struck out the first two guys, got Aaron Judge to ground out to up the middle, like a pretty slow ground ball. And then the National League just took off and running. They scored 6 unanswered runs. It looked like it was going to be, you know, a disaster. And then all of a sudden, the AL makes a comeback, and they wind up tying the game by the 9th. And the funniest thing about all this is they tied up in the 9th, and I don't think anyone really knows this, and this is more controversy, which I guess is good for baseball. They had a home run swing off for the overall win for the All-Star game. So after the 9th inning, nothing was done. They just picked 3 guys, and I guess they had to pick them before the game. They picked their 3 guys each league, and you get 3 swings each. You can hit 3 home runs, you can hit 0, or you get in between. So the American League was up, I think it was 3-1, and then we had Kyle Schwarber was up, and he took all 3 of his pitches deep, and then on his last one, he even went down and got it, and almost looked like he hit it on one knee out of the stadium, and they wind up winning the All-Star game off of Kyle Schwarber's 3 home runs in the swing off is what they were calling it.
I see.
Now, I woke up this morning and they went crazy with like how this all, like no one in I guess the media knew what was going on with this swing off. But apparently in 2022, they put this rule on the books in case there was a tie, they would do this swing off. So, long story short, they didn't tell anybody. Like, you know how the NBA, whenever they change rules for these All-Star games, whatever, before they do the contest, they show you the rules?
Right.
No rules were taken, so that was pretty much it. And that was the end of the home run derby. I mean, of the All-Star game. And that's where we went from there with the All-Star game. And that's pretty much it. Now we're just sitting and waiting for 2 days for baseball to start. And now the next 2 weeks, all we're gonna have is 2 weeks of talk for the trade deadline and players that are gonna be taken. I don't know where you stand as far as what you want as far as the Mets, but for me, during the All-Star break, I think it was the Home Run Derby before it, they were interviewing different people. And one of the guys they interviewed was the guy from the Diamondbacks, Suarez.
Okay.
And he basically said, that how does he respond to the trade rumors that the Yankees are all in, and they're targeting like him as a trade target to be on their team. And basically what he said is they want to go all in, they want to win. If I wind up getting traded to them, I'll do my best to, win a championship with them and all this other stuff. So there's going to be a lot of traction in the next 2 weeks with all these trade talks and where they're going to go, this, that, and the other. I don't know if you were looking into any of these guys for the Mets. I know the Mets, just like the Yankees, need a lot of bullpen help. And maybe, we'll look into it for next week, because I think as we get closer to the trade deadline, there's going to be so many more rumors. But as of right now, the Yankees are linked to him, Zach Gallen, and Merrill Kelly for the Diamondbacks.
Good pitchers.
Yeah. And Gallen isn't really pitching that well this year for them.
Right, so you can maybe get him for cheaper.
Cheaper, and they might be, since the Diamondbacks are like a couple games under 500, they might be willing to part ways with these guys. Suarez is a free agent at the end of the year, so, and I guess in the eyes of the Yankees, we give him a test run, see if he plays well for us, and then maybe we'll offer him a contract next year. The only problem with him is he hits a lot of home runs off bad pitching,
Okay.
and he doesn't really hit for average. I think he's hitting like 250 something, which I guess is kind of like the norm now. I guess you'd rather hit that than, I guess, 200 like Volpe or whatever. But I kind of want someone that hits for average, but there really isn't really someone out there. They're also linked to Arenado and this guy Hayes, I think it's the Pirates. I'm not 100% sure. The Yankees do a lot of trades with the Pirates in the last bunch of years. But yeah, I don't know, what else they want to do. I know they want to go for a starting pitcher as well and some bullpen help. But I also don't want to give up this rookie pitcher that we just got. Like, I know it can only be one start. There's always that chance. But he looks like he has a lot of potential. I kind of don't want to give him away. And then Spencer Jones in AAA is doing really well since he got to AAA. So I don't know where they're going to sit with that. But yeah, other than that, I don't know where this is going to go. Time will tell, and we'll see in a couple of weeks what the Yankees and Brian Cashman wind up doing. As far as for the Mets, I think you need similar things, right? Pitching and bullpen.
Yeah, I would agree. Those are, definitely. Obviously, they've gotten a little bit healthier over the last week, but you're always going to need more arms. Definitely with the bullpen too. That seems to be more of an issue as of late as well. So we'll see.
I did hear that the Mets were looking for a center fielder, and they've been. The names that have been out there are Harrison Bader and the guy, is his name Jared Duran from Boston?
Yeah, he's good, yeah.
He's real good, but I don't see the...
Yeah, I don't see Boston letting him go.
I agree, like, especially after a 10-game win streak.
Right.
I mean, wouldn't you... Listen, if in the next 2 weeks they lose 10 games or something like that and wind up being out of it, maybe.
Yeah.
But they
he might be the best player on that team.
I agree with you. And especially after they just got rid of Devers, like, why would you want to give up another guy unless you're getting a haul back from him?
Although getting rid of Devers might have been the right move with him not showing up for one-on-one sessions with
Will Clark?
Yeah,
I saw that too. I thought that was crazy, right? So insane. Like, the nerve on this guy. And you know what's funny? I think I don't know what their records are, but Boston's record is way better than the Giants' record right now after they gave away Devers. So I guess he was a little bit of a cancer in the locker room. So
maybe.
I don't know. We'll see how that all turns out. So now I think we were kind of wrapped that in a bow. We're caught up with the baseball, so to speak. So we're gonna do my little diamond facts right now.
Yeah, hit me with them.
I got a bunch. I think I'm just going to cut it in half and do the rest next week.
Okay.
Because there was a lot of good stuff, I guess, probably because there was no baseball contact the last couple of days besides the All-Star weekend. So we got, did you know that the New York Yankees almost signed Greg Maddux and Barry Bonds in 1992?
I did not.
Crazy. Crazy to me. That's insane. This is a good one. Because I don't think you would ever be able to guess this, but Mark Grace led MLB with 1,754 hits in the 90s. He had more hits than Tony Gwynn, Craig Biggio, Robert Alomar, and Cal Ripken Jr.
Wow.
Insane, right? I remember. Do you remember watching him play? Yeah. He was really good, but I didn't know he was that good.
But yeah, I didn't. Yeah, that's wow.
This is another good one. You remember the guy Brian Giles?
Yeah.
Played for Pittsburgh, and I think. Did he also play for San Diego too? Or was it somebody else? I might be thinking of. Either which way, he has a career OPS of 902. That is higher than Miguel Cabrera, Freddie Freeman, Willie McCovey, Willie Stargell, and Mookie Betts.
Wow.
Those are some good names. I'm telling you, whoever puts these out, fantastic. This is a good Aaron Judge stat. Since 2007, Aaron Judge now has 22 home runs in the 8th inning or later. That either tied the game or gave his team the lead. That's 5 more than any other player in that span. So for everyone saying he doesn't hit in the clutch, this, that, and the other, I guess we got to just change that sentence to he doesn't hit in the clutch in the playoffs. But that's a story for another day because I probably could find facts that he has done that before. It's just he's been in a little bit of a rut the last couple of years. So he'll turn it on. And I think I'll cut it right there because I actually want to talk about some movies and all this other stuff. So we'll go with that. But to give me a quick little breather, you got anything that you were watching?
Yeah, I actually watched. I actually just finished it today. Squid Game.
Oh, did you like it?
Yeah, it was good. Definitely enjoyed it. It's pretty dark, I would say. It shows, I guess, some of the darker aspects of, human nature when put in competition or, a situation. But no, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good, and I enjoyed it. I thought the ending was well done as well. So definitely recommend checking that out.
Awesome.
Did you watch it as well?
Yeah, I did. I think I finished that in our 2-week hiatus.
Okay.
I'm glad you actually watched it because I wanted to talk about the ending.
Okay.
I liked it. I felt like they screwed him over a little bit.
100%.
I forget his name.
Yeah. The main guy.
Yeah, the main guy. I kind of really want. I get it. You won the first season. Now you're in this one. Your chances of winning 2 in a row are crazy. But the fact once that whole thing plays out where they're jumping from pillar to pillar and people are just killing each other, like at one point, wouldn't you just like? Especially the worst part about it was at the very end when he's with the guy, the daughter's father.
Yeah.
Like, just press the button and go to town with this dude. You know what I mean? Just hit the button. Because if he hit the button and threw him off, he would have been good because then both of them would have survived.
Right.
I would have liked to see that ending. I get why they did it. But another thing I would have done is the guy that they stabbed on the other platform, I would have dragged him over and threw him off and see if that would have worked. Like, press the button, like, let's throw this guy over and see if it worked.
Oh, right. Yeah,
because
not a bad idea.
Because if I remember correctly, the rules were you gotta throw them off the edge, like they gotta go.
Right.
So that guy was still sitting there. If you would have just dragged him over, like if you would have came up with the plan, let's just drag this guy over, hit the button, throw him off. They're not gonna know if he's dead or alive. Just because he's laying on the ground, he can still have a heartbeat or something like that.
Right.
Boom, throw him off. Let's get the cause of death going.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding with that, but like, you know what I mean? And if they say no, you got to keep going, then you fight to the death and you leave the baby.
Yeah, and then it was interesting too how the one guy who they beat the crap out of, he was just like,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm out, and it was like, I guess he had enough.
To say the least, it was a wild ending, and then they wind up blowing up the whole island, basically, or whatever it was, and then
Game over.
they wrap everything in a bow. The leader of that runs the whole island in the game winds up giving the prizes out, and the baby,
Now, the one thing I was wondering too about the end, when you see that when they're in LA, when they're playing the game in the street, like, does that mean like the next one's going to be in the US?
That's what I thought. Like,
so you got out of it too.
I basically got the fact that they ran it there, and it was the first season was so successful,
Right.
even though like they said they've been doing it for a while,
Right.
it was just whatever,
Right.
that they wanted to bring it over to New York. And then you saw, what was her name, Kate Blanchett.
Yeah.
Like she was the one that was playing the games with people and recruiting, and he looked at her and she smiled, and that led to me like, okay, now they're gonna have an American version.
Right.
What's good about that to me is now you're not gonna have this dub stuff. You're gonna have all American actors.
We know you're not a fan of the dub.
Right. No, I mean it was fine because it was such a good show. Like I
Right.
dealt with it,
Right.
but it's a heartwarming feeling now that I could just watch it and actually and not be
Without
dubbed.
having to read.
Right, or anything, or like whatever. So and I have a feeling like that the main guy that ran the game,
Right.
he's actually a famous American actor too. So I assume he'd
Oh,
be
really?
in that too. Yeah, he was Snake Eyes and GI Joe. He's been in a bunch of stuff.
Okay.
So like I think he was in Red 2
Okay.
as well. Like he's been in American movies.
I've definitely seen. I didn't look it up, but I've definitely seen the police guy that was like chasing him, or is it his brother? I forget. But I've definitely seen him before too. But I forget what it was in.
Maybe, yeah. I have to look into that because you might be right on that.
Yeah.
Anything else you saw?
No, that was it. Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
So we talked about Squid Games. I'm watching The Walking Dead, Dead City right now.
Oh, they have another show, huh?
They have so many, dude. And I was never really gonna watch it, but to be fair, this is season 2 of this Dead City, so that's like the Negan and Lauren team up,
Okay.
sort of. But this second season, I'm on the last episode right now, so I'll do more of a synopsis next week.
Gotcha.
But this season was pretty good. It was pretty entertaining. Like whatever, we're going from there. I saw that. I watched Murderbot on Apple TV.
Oh, how was that?
Different.
Is that a show or?
It's a show. It's 10 episodes. It just ended this past week. So it was good.
Cool.
It was very different, but I found it to be entertaining enough to watch.
I see.
Like it wasn't fantastic by any means,
Right.
but it was a good show.
Okay.
Definitely check it out if you have a chance. That was good. And then the last thing I just saw it over the weekend, Sunday, the Superman movie.
That's what I wanted to ask you. How was it?
It was good.
Nice.
It was good. I went in
I
there.
thought it would be, James Gunn directing.
And it had his feel to it right away. You could tell like the music was like almost like you were in Guardians of the Galaxy and whatever. Now, I'll tell you this because since it's so fresh, it just opened this weekend. I don't want to give a lot away, but I'm driving into work the other day, and I'm listening to sports talk radio like I always do, and they're talking about the Superman movie for like 15 minutes. All because, remember Mike Francesa?
Right.
I guess he watched it over the weekend, and he was complaining about it, saying it was so bad. And if it wasn't at like 8:15 in the morning, I probably would have tried to call up. Like if this was later in the afternoon or even at night, I would have called up. I did not, but he couldn't have been more wrong. He was complaining about the dog. He was complaining about Superman. He was complaining about X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, he likes to complain.
Yeah, I only got tidbits of what his
Wait,
critique was.
Does he still have a show?
I think he does. Like he might have what we do. I don't know if it's like on YouTube or whatever, but he does some kind of podcast for himself just to kill time, like a hobby for him.
Got it.
Like this is a hobby for us until someone decides that, hey, we want to pay you. But it was a really good movie. People got to understand it's a different Superman, not the actor per se,
Right.
but what and I got fed a lot of this from the fans. So those guys, you had a lot of passionate sports callers call up that saw Superman already that were calling like, this guy's crazy. It was a great movie.
Right.
I wouldn't call it great,
Yeah.
only because we've seen so many Superman movies, but this was not an origin story, which
Right.
was good
Right.
because we've seen it over
Yeah, we've seen that a million times.
So James Gunn acknowledged that, dealt with it. The fact that he was complaining about Crypto the dog, he's been in the comics longer than Mike Francesa's probably been alive. So for him not to know that, shame on him.
Right.
Because I think the dog came out in like the early 1950s or something like that. So I think Superman came out in the late 30s, but whatever. Either which way, Superman showed a lot of compassion. The action was pretty good. If I had to say one bad thing about it, is the 2 end credit scenes. He might have taken it from Marvel, I guess. I mean, it's not really copyrighted by Marvel, but he should have did something good with the end credit scenes. He did not. I'm not going to ruin it. I really hope you get to see it soon, so we could really talk about it.
Okay.
That's all I'll say for now. But overall, if I had to give it a grade, let's give it a anywhere from a B+ to an A-. Like, I almost think I'd have to see it again just to see if I caught everything, because there was a lot going on, and they had all their cameos. I didn't think that killed the film either.
Okay.
Like, some people were complaining that it's supposed to be a Superman film, not a X, Y, and Z film. They weren't in it long enough for it to be like a Justice League kind of thing where like they're all in it all the time.
I see.
They had like little snippets here and there, and they were good like interactions, you know.
Gotcha.
And I'll leave it right at that. And that's pretty much all I saw. I can't remember anything else from last week. Yeah.
I did remember I watched one other thing, Nosferatu. It's awesome.
I saw it.
Yeah. You told me.
Okay,
you
good.
enjoyed it. You were
Yeah,
right.
and you saw it was dope.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was on Prime. I thought the guy that was vampire was great. I thought Johnny Depp's daughter, as you know, the female.
Oh, that was her?
Yeah, she was great.
Interesting.
Yeah, just I kind of wish I saw it in the theater, but yeah, really enjoyed it. Probably the best vampire movie that I've seen.
I mean, since probably Interview with the Vampire, I would think.
Yeah, I just thought
Yeah.
it was great.
It was very
well,
good.
Well done.
Very
so
good.
Definitely, yeah. Definitely.
Oh, I'm glad you watched that. Makes me happy. It's good. You checked it out.
Willem Dafoe is good in it.
Yes. Dope. Great movie. Good. I'm glad we ended on that note. That was good.
Oh yeah.
You got any music?
Yeah, one pick for this week as usual. We're gonna go with Clips with Let God Sort 'Em Out. So that's the pick for this week.
All right, folks. That'll do it for this week. We'll hit you back next week, hopefully on Tuesday. Everyone else, enjoy your rest of the week and the weekend. It's a hot one.
Stay hydrated.
That's right. Enjoy your week, folks. Later.